Welcome back to the channel, everybody. I am the stepson of Krypton,
And I'm Mantis.
and today we are discussing Madam Web. Dun, dun, dun. Now, full disclosure before we begin, we haven't seen it yet, right? We're doing this discussion based off of information that we've been receiving on the movie, and we need your help, guys. If any of you who are subscribed, and real quick, take a quick break on that, we want to thank you guys for all the recent subscriptions that we've had to the channel, as well as all the comments. We love that interaction. Keep it coming. But if any of you have seen it yet, and you want to make a case for why we either should or shouldn't go see it, let us know. Because, and Mantis, I'll get your opinion on it, but mine is I'm kind of taking a break from the Marvel movies for a little bit until they prove they can put out one that has a good story and isn't just, hey, let's throw a bunch of these popular people in there and not a story. Mantis, what are your thoughts?
I don't really give a shit. DC, Marvel, as long as it's a good fucking movie. Like we've just said this before. Like we both primarily like DC as opposed to Marvel. I think the characters are better, the stories are better. That's enough for me. But I'm not saying I don't dislike uh, Marvel movies or stories. It's just that currently I'll take anything that is good. I don't care who fuck makes it. I don't care if fucking Nick at Night puts out a fucking movie and it's good. Like I'm trying to grasp at straws here to find good movies, and apparently the only people that make good movies nowadays are I don't know, Tom Cruise. Like,
No, I'll be the first me, not the next Tom Cruise. Thank you very much.
apparently he's the only one that makes good movies nowadays. So it's a I would say I'm in a lull here, taking a break from MCU.
I think we should take a break.
Just because the past movies they made have just sucked. But the funny thing is, this movie, and correct me if I'm wrong here, is this a Sony movie?
This is a Sony movie. Sorry, I was looking up Nick at Night to see if there were any good movies for you, and there's all it's got is Friends and Mike and Molly. But yes, it is Sony. So this is in the Sony verse. They don't have their own thing. It's not a.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not a direct tie to the as far as the MCU. It's all kind of doing its own thing in its own universe. What does it? Do you remember what actual universe, like what Earth is it that Madam Web takes place on? Like the movie actually does.
Yeah, so like this particular one, at least according to what I found, is Earth 58163. I don't know what that means. But I do know that this iteration.
That means that's how many Earths Marvel's already gone through, and you've gone through that they've screwed up. Okay, we're 58163. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there was an original Cassandra Webb. That's who Madam Web is. Yeah. That first appeared in The Amazing Spider-Man issue number 210 back in the 1980s. Now, their backstories are kind of the same in that instance of what exactly their powers are, but according to the movie in the current iteration of Madam Web is from that Earth 58163, not the 616, and is a not a mutant, and they're playing the whole she was a paramedic avenue or aspect of it. So that's yeah.
I'm gonna do a cut in of Doctor Strange sitting there like he was in Infinity War and stuff, and he's like, "How many did you see?" And it's like 14,605. How many does Disney fuck up, or how many does Disney not fuck up? One. That's it.
Yeah.
14,605,000. Like, I'm gonna do a cut it where we just it won't be as great quality just because I'm not a movie director. But,
Yeah.
I think it.
How many did you see? 14,605,000.
How many does Disney not fuck up?
One.
So
Yeah, and yeah, this again, it's a spin-off of Spider-Man. And you know, I think that the character itself is supposed to be, you know, she gets psychic abilities and stuff like that, but it's like it's a very odd spin-off of Spider-Man when we're considering Web, right? Like, I would assume that she would have kind of the same powers as Spider-Man, but apparently that's not the case.
yeah, it kind of makes it sound like that, right? Like, there's probably a lot of people heard Madam Web and think it's just gonna be a girl Spider-Man, you know, flinging around fucking webs around New York. It takes place in New York too. Everybody's, oh yeah, it's just gonna be a woman Spider-Man, and you know, maybe everybody's disappointed because they went to the theaters and it wasn't a female Spider-Man. She just got psychic abilities because from what I remember of Madam Web is she doesn't really have anything else other than the psychic ability, right?
Yeah. Again, the older ones, it's like the radiation caused her to become a mutant. Now, this version that they're doing in the movie, she's not a mutant. But and you're right, like she had like telepathy, psychic abilities, so she could
Yeah, the older
get
ones
visions
had
and stuff.
She had a whole range of psychic ability or mental abilities. This one, I thought they were just playing her as a psychic. I could be wrong. Let me know
Yeah.
down in the comments if I am. But
According
for
that's
this version of it,
yeah, we've not seen it. Yeah, we've not seen it. So who the fuck knows? According to the reports, that's what I say. Reports, according to articles, you know, that's what she has is like visions, premonitions, that type of shit.
Now, if you have been with us for a while, you know, like normally, yes, we've seen most of the Marvel and the DC franchise, things of that nature. However, with Marvel and even DC, but with the current state and mostly with Marvel, because right now they're the only ones putting out stuff. DC's kind of on hiatus. You know, we're not going and seeing everything new that's coming out just because, you know, I'm tired of wasting my money. Okay. It cost me $20-something just to get a movie ticket. I don't want to go see a bunch of garbage if it's going to suck. Okay. Prove to me, make it back up. Now, I know the Marvels ran into the same problem. They said Madam Web's probably going to do that, where it's not releasing on streaming for like 80 something to 90 days after its initial movie release. So I know the Marvels had that big problem. I think it broke a record or it tied a record for like, it was like 92 days after it released. Now, the ironic thing is, being children of the 80s and early 90s that we are, like, you know, you used to go, you'd see a movie, it'd stay in theaters for 5-6 months, and then it would be a year before it came out to VHS if you were lucky.
Yeah.
Now it's like if a movie comes out to theaters, if it's not out on like streaming or to buy in 3 months, people are freaked out. Like, what's going on? And when you have movies that don't have very strong theatrical releases, you're like, okay, same situation, right? Maybe people just are tired of going and seeing shit movies in the theater, and so they're not going to give this one a chance. Bring it out to streaming, and let's see how it does there. So when it does come out there, unless you tell us different, if you guys tell us, hey, it's worth going and seeing in theaters, based off this Rotten Tomatoes score that Mantis is going to get into here in a minute, I don't think it is. But if you say so, we will go and then we will do a review of the movie. If anybody in the comments says, hey, go watch it, I promise we will go actually watch it. I feel like that's not going to happen, though. So we'll be able to save the money and not have to go see it. But
it's going to come out to streaming. It's going to come out to streaming, kind of to piggyback on what you said. Like, I don't particularly like spending $20 to go see a movie I like at the theaters. Now, I mean, I'll say this, the last movie I went to the theaters and actually saw twice in theaters was Dune. That was the last movie I went and saw twice. Like, it was good enough that I went and paid again to watch it. For a movie to come out in theaters, it has to be worth watching in theaters. Like, comedies, I don't want to go see in theaters. Like, horror flicks are I love horror flicks. So those they don't necessarily have to be great for me to go to want to see them. But like, when it comes to especially superhero movies, because I'm going to get into the superhero fatigue aspect of this, people can I can see that being a thing right now. And to your point, I'm not going to go pay to see it if I know it's coming out on streaming that I already pay for other stuff. So if it's between me paying, $20 to go see this piece of shit movie that I know that it's garbage because of even the critics say it's garbage, and the Rotten Tomato meter says it's garbage, then I'm not going to waste my money on it. I'm going to wait until it comes out on streaming and then watch it there, and then capitalize on YouTube. So that's what's going to happen.
You guys probably can't read the article that's behind me. It's off of Bloomberg News, but it says even Dakota Johnson appears to get that Madam Web is very, very bad. Okay, she's not excited doing the red carpet, doing all of that. She wasn't really excited for it. And then you have to kind of wonder if the lead actress isn't excited about it. They know they didn't put out something good. And now that doesn't necessarily mean I'm saying she didn't put out something good. She may have been to a point where she put out something she didn't like because that was the direction she was getting, right? The direction was,
sure.
And the writing and the directing, everything was, you do this, and she knew it probably wasn't going to be very good, but what the fuck do you do? Do you maybe step off the project?
And yeah, I mean, you don't. If you just don't quit.
Then quit, you slimy fucking walrus fucking piece of shit!
Like, you just don't quit. I wouldn't quit. You go through with it, and then, you roast it afterwards. You're like, this is garbage. Yeah, we made complete shit. I didn't quit. We made complete shit.
Prime example of that is Ryan Reynolds with the Green Lantern movie.
God damn, that's beautiful. You're welcome, Canada.
Exactly. Yeah, and then you use it, right, moving forward as your props and jokes. Like, you're right. Johnson in this movie, like, it even says that she kind of escapes most of the criticisms in the critics' writings about the movie. Like, they don't necessarily blame her for it. And again, we've not watched it, so I can't tell you if that's true or not. We're taking them at their word for it. But the interesting thing is, Madam Web, which arrived 2 months after the Marvels, which again is the lowest grossing MCU title of all time. And this one could possibly be lower than that.
Well, it's Sony, though, so you got to remember that it's not technically part of the MCU.
Sure. Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, right. It's not part of MCU, but the lowest. I'll say the lowest grossing. It could become the lowest grossing. I won't say superhero movie. I'm sure there's others that were lower than that, but let's just say within the past, several years.
If you watched our Movies the Game video, which I can only tell you not that many of you have, there have been some low grossing superhero movies, especially the ones that they've adapted into video games. Not bitter about that at all.
Yeah.
But so yes, like, if you've seen Dakota Johnson, and I know there's a lot of people that have seen the 50 Shades of Grey and that whole series. I have not. But I've seen other things she's been in. She is a good actress, right? And that's just kind of one of those things that I hate about the current state of movies. Well, let's stick with superhero movies anyways, is that when you have people who are writing and directing that aren't passionate about the source material, you're not getting a great movie, and it's looking bad on the actors and actresses, because we're seeing a lot of big name actors and actresses come into the superhero realm because it's been so popular for a while now that people want to be a part of it, but then they're a part of something that it's just somebody's paycheck that directed it and wrote it that didn't care.
Well, and this brings up a good point here. So I'll say this: the Rotten Tomato meters are 15% for this. Okay, it's getting 15%. Yeah, the audience score is at 59. Now, kind of going off of your writing thing that you're talking about there, the Hollywood Reporter said it's an airless, stilted endeavor driven by a mechanical screenplay. So I'm kind of wondering, with the writer's strike, do you think they used AI to write this?
I don't know. So, like, I'm not I don't use any AI to come up with anything. Clearly, you can see some of the dialogue and the stuff come up with. There's no AI driven. Maybe that's why it's not very good. I don't know. Maybe that's why nobody seems to like it. But like when you use the Bard that one day, I was like, that was actually sounded really, really good. I gotta imagine AI would actually come up with something better at this point. The problem is
That's what I'm
the
wondering.
lack of imagination, right? Now, we can blame it on the writer's strike, and I'm not saying in this particular case that's not what happened, right? But the problem is that RIP Stan Lee and some of these other guys that that actually wrote out and came up with the idea for most of the bulk of our superheroes, right? Is that other people just want to try to use their work and they don't want to come up with an idea. They're just like, this is super popular, and you know what? We have a chance to put a female lead and all this other stuff, but then
Female director.
I think I'll have to look it up, but there was the one, I don't know if it was the Marvels or not, but it was also African American female. That was their thing, was African American female director on they made a shitty movie, but that was their big thing, right? Because it's all about, well, we need to check off all these boxes, and then we don't have the imagination for what this is. Mantis and I, we're working on some projects right now, but we're small time content creators of a very small YouTube channel. Like we sit around and think, well, dude, what if we did this idea? What if we did this idea? You storyboard out, and when you watch some of these movies, you're like, what did you guys do? Did a bunch of you just get in a room and start talking about fucking random weird shit that had nothing to do with the source material? And then you're like, oh fuck, we got a movie to put out. Let's just do this. Like what's the deal? Because the lack
It reminds me of.
Go ahead. I'll come back.
I was say there's an episode of South Park, I think, where they're choosing. I don't know if it was where they were saying, what's this next Family Guy episode going to be? And it was like South Park making fun of it. And there's seals. There's a bunch of balls. And like whichever one the seal hits over the fucking screen, it's like, that's the idea. That's what we're going to do. Like,
the idea balls drop into the joke combine and form a part of the new script. Laundry, date, winning, Mexico, Gary Coleman. A perfect Family Guy joke.
It's like, are they have a dartboard and they're just throwing shit randomly at it? And like, okay, I guess we're doing the one about the pig that goes down and buys heroin from this fucking seal. It's like, wait a minute, what? Like, what are we talking about here?
If you ever watch the Viva La Dirt League, whatever, they do the epic NPC, man. The one, like, the guy is, and you know this from playing Destiny, the guy, I know we're getting off topic here, but the guy goes out there and he's questing, and he's like, man, I just bought this DLC, and he goes, I'm already done with all the quests. He goes, now I'm getting procedurally generated quests. He goes, oh, that is not true. He said, not lying. And he goes, I need you to, and he spins this lottery wheel thing. And he's like, collect. And he said so much. And then he throws a dart at a map from here. And then he just random. So like, it's like 3 different things he does. I'll link the video down below because it's a great channel, but theirs are hilarious. And it was just like, I'm like, that's what they did for the movie. We need to make a movie about that also has to, and they just went through this random, like, procedurally generated shit.
Please find for me $57 yellow flowers in Schmagenrog.
And two last things I'll say. This was from the Daily Beast and the USA Today. Full of bad dialogue, delivered badly by talented men and women stuck with crummy material and equally lousy stewardship. The Sony Spider-Man universe is now completely lifeless and no need of resuscitation. And then USA Today says the worst superhero movie since Morbius, which was fucking terrible.
Oh, ouch. Now,
bad.
What I love about that article, though, is it says exactly basically what we had just said. Is that, you have talented people, right? These actors and actresses, I'm not blaming them, right? Like, I think Dakota Johnson, she is a very talented actress. She's also hot.
Yeah.
But that has nothing to, it has a little to do with it, but she is a talented actress, right? If you're given shit material and shit direction, and it's not even like, hey, like, what if we took it this way, but you come up with she's told, hey, we're doing it this way. And it's either their way or the highway, and you have to do it. Like we said with Green Lantern with Ryan Reynolds, we all know how talented he is. Did just react to the Deadpool 3 trailer. Don't know when this one's going to release, but we found Mantis. He was missing from it, so we did find
Super
him.
Bowls.
He's alive. For anybody who watched that video,
Super Bowl was great, by the way. Yeah.
I mentioned that was probably what you were doing in there, but so I'm hoping that event like I said, maybe this is going to be the end. I know Marvel's got some good things potentially in the works for the rest of Phase 5. We'll see how it goes, but before we start running off on some other off the wall tangents in here, guys, kind of give Mantis, you want to give your final thoughts on Madam Web?
No, I mean, again, haven't seen it.
He
It
just
just
said
looks
no.
like
I love that.
no.
No,
I
fuck
mean,
it.
no. It's just like I don't even know what else to say that we haven't talked about already. It's like if it comes for free, when it comes out free, we may do a video on it just as a review video of how garbage we confirm that it is. It's just the way I'm reading about it with the female director and all of the female actresses. It seems like trying to push shit, and then it's like Sony's not known for doing that, but maybe it was just maybe it's their time to make a bad movie, and this happens to be it. So unlucky, I guess.
You would have thought they would have looked at these other big studios and be like, "Oh, they're failing when they do that. Let's not." But if you've made it with us this far, guys, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. I don't want to get off on any big tangents on this again since we haven't seen it yet. Let us know, like I said, down in the comments if we should. If you've made it with us this far, consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel for more content as well, because we've got a lot more coming up, especially with the continuation of Phase 5 of the MCU, as well as our Superman Legacy series, and all of that information coming up with James Gunn's new rebirth of the DCU. So, Mantis, unless you have anything else?
Nope.
All right, guys, we will catch you on the next one. Take it easy.
Later. Oh shit.
You just kind of phoned in that ending. What the fuck?